Hey guys, today on JD Cars, we're going to be finding out if there's any performance gain, and if so, how much, when installing the aFe Magnum Force air intake and aFe's dynamic air intake scoops. So I received a couple packages on Monday and I've been absolutely dying with excitement. And right away, before we get into this, I'd love to take a minute to pay a huge thank you to Bavarian Autosport and aFe Power for giving me the opportunity to make this video. They quite literally have every single part you could need for your BMW, so I highly recommend you check out their website. It's bavauto.com. So we'll be measuring the performance gains of both the aFe Power Magnum Force Stage 2 intake as well as the dynamic air scoops. While I am dying to rip these boxes open, first we have to go get some baseline data, so I'll have a baseline to see what the performance gains are from these two products. I'm gonna hop in the car right now and we'll probably go do about half a dozen 0 to 60 runs. This is an absolutely beautiful place to do this test. Now, a couple variables to mention here. We are driving a manual transmission. We have the ski rack on the roof. We've got about half a tank of fuel here. And we are also running some winter tires, which are a little bit soft. So now we're gonna do 6 runs. We're gonna measure both the 0 to 60 time and the 1/8 mile time. This will give us 2 sources of data to set a nice baseline. So we are back home. I just checked out the data from the Ionon system. Here are all of the 0 to 60 times in order from first run to last run. Here are all of the 1/8 mile times in order from first to last run. The average 0 to 60 time came out to be 6.8416 seconds, and the average 1/8 mile time came out to be 10.2216 seconds. All right, next time I see you, these guys should be installed in the car. Alrighty, so we now have the Magnum Force Stage 2 air intake as well as the dynamic air intake scoops installed on the car. If you want to see the intake video, be sure to check it out right here. Currently the same temperature and humidity as when we did the pre-installation data collection. So I thought today would be a good day to go see if there's any noticeable performance gains. So we've got the Ionon stereo ready to go here with the 0 to 60 time and the 1/8 mile time. 24 degrees, which I believe is only 2 degrees different from when we first conducted the test. We still have the ski roof rack on. We also still have the same wheels and tires, which are winter tires. We have a little more than 3/4 of a tank, which is a 1/4 tank more compared to last time. So just as before, we're gonna do 6 runs and then we'll compare the data from before and after. Well, the Mavic here decided during its active tracking that it was going to go into the telephone wires. There doesn't seem to be any major damage other than the prop, but one of the wires to the gimbal and camera tore, so we won't be getting any more shots today, unfortunately. Alright, so that concludes all of our data runs. I'm gonna head back to the house now and we'll tally up the data to see what the difference is. So here are the 1/8 mile times after installing the intake and scoops, and here are the 0 to 60 times after installing the intake and scoops. As you can see, they're much more consistently in the mid-6 range, so there was definitely an improvement there. When comparing the before average 0 to 60 time of 6.8416 seconds to the average time after installation, which was 6.62 seconds, you can see there's a 3.35% decrease in 0 to 60 time, and somewhat unimpressively, Notably, there was only about a 0.2% decrease in the 8th mile time. On paper, this seems to be a very small difference, but you do truly have to drive the car to appreciate the difference the intake makes. Additionally, something I was not capable of testing and comparing data on is performance on the highway. Now, after installing this intake and the intake scoops, I've undoubtedly noticed a huge difference on the highway. When there's a large amount of airflow, the car pulls noticeably harder and is much more responsive at higher speeds, and it would make sense that there isn't a massive difference in 0 to 60 time, because during that time the airflow isn't very high at those low speeds, especially compared to highway speeds. So we've got my brother's mic set up on his camera here. We're gonna get some nice exhaust note clips so you can hear what the difference is after installing the intake. So with the exhaust valve open, there is a noticeable difference in the deepness of the exhaust note, which you can hear right now. Now, what's most interesting is what happens when you close the exhaust valve. What's most interesting after the installation of the intake is the sound the car makes even with the exhaust closed, which is equivalent to a car with stock exhaust. As you can hear, the car has a deeper exhaust note even with the exhaust closed. So as you heard there, the car has significantly more engine noise coming from the intake, which is a pretty cool difference. But when you go back to cruising and you're not really on the gas very hard, the car is silent just as it is when stock. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I'd like to pay a huge thank you to Bavarian Autosport and aFe for sponsoring this project. Be sure to check out the links in the description below. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time on JD Cars.